Hi everybody, I'm back with finishing my journal cover and also adding pages to it. I'm going to link down below the last two parts to this where I did some slow stitching, some free motion stitching, and then added some color with Inktense pencils. I do have this piece of cardboard. It came from packaging. I don't know if it was sheets or something. And I thought that that's going to be a great inside for me. So I'm going to be cutting that down. But first of all, I want some fleece on the back side of this. So this is just a fusible iron-on fleece. And it's just a scrap. It's really wrinkled. I just had it in my scrap bin. But it's a pretty good size. I'm just going to iron that on. So I've got the adhesive side down, and I'm ironing. I'm just going to iron a little bit from the front side as well. And then I need to find the center of this book. And so I'm just going to make a little mark. This is a water-soluble pen that I'm marking. And then I'm also going to use that same pen and mark the center front of this cardboard. And then approximately where I want to cut my two widths off. My favorite way to do this or to use cutting this type of thing is with a metal ruler and then a snap-off X-Acto knife blade. Just lining it up with my my mat there, those lines on my cutting mat, and it's just a really easy way of doing that. Now I also need to cut down the length, so I'm going to again make another little mark where I need that cut down. I do have a piece of fabric that I want to put on the inside, and so I'm just going to lay that out. And I realize I want that cardboard to be cut just a bit smaller, so I'm just going to cut just a little bit off the width and the length of it. I do want that inside fabric to completely cover up this cardboard. I'm just going to put a piece of Heat and Bond Light. This is a paperback adhesive. Just going to add that to iron that onto the back side of this inside fabric. And just lining everything up to make sure everything is going to work, and then just adding glue. This is a fabric fusion glue. And putting it on quite liberally. I want it to really stick well to this. Lining up my little center marks to make sure everything is centered. Adding my little ties. Now this is just a silk ribbon that I want, and I'm just going to stitch that on. And then I thought, well, why don't I add a pocket? And so this is just a piece of scrap of natural colored muslin, folded it in half so it's a double layer, and then just going to decorate it. I just have a couple patches there, and then I have this stamp that says memo with a bunch of lines. I just thought that was kind of appropriate for a journal. I'm using my Distress ink in the espresso color. It's a little bit a dark brown. I really do like it for this. It's not a washable ink, but this journal is not going to be washable, so I thought that's going to be just fine. Now it's I'm going to zigzag around this. I've already zigzagged around those patches and just zigzagged around that pocket as well. Tearing off that paperback adhesive now. And then we'll just iron this right on so it sticks right onto that cardboard. Now I could have just glued this on, but sometimes that glue seeps through and I didn't want that. That's the reason why I decided on using the Heat and Bond Light to attach this. And it's very smooth. It's a very smooth way of getting that inside cover done. And then I'll take this to my sewing machine and I'll stitch around this. I just removed that blue mark. I didn't want that to show. That's what I spritzed some water on that just to remove that water-soluble pen. And then we'll be zigzagging around this. And that's all done. And now it's just on to my pages. And I want to try a hidden spine with this. And I haven't done a lot of these, but I thought this is what I don't want to poke through that cover at all. So I thought a hidden spine would be great. And I'm just measured my spine and I'm cutting that a little bit narrower than my spine. And this, I just thought I needed it's a little bit smaller, just cutting a little bit off of that. This is a real thin cardboard. It's actually a scrap from the other cardboard that I used. And I'm going to make two of them, just and press them or glue them together just so that it's not quite so flimsy. Cutting off the length to what I need. And we'll be just gluing these two together again with my Fabric Fusion glue. I'm going to cover this piece of cardboard now with fabric. Probably didn't need to do this. The white would have been just fine, but I have another piece of this scrap fabric. So I'm again adding some Heat and Bond Light to the back of it. And then just going to be ironing this right onto that piece of cardboard. And being careful not to get any of that Heat and Bond onto my pressing surface there. But cutting that out now, and then I will iron this a little bit better just to make sure it's nice and secure. So now I have my little hidden spine constructed, and now just to add my little dots where my holes that I need. I'm just going to be doing a 3-hole pamphlet stitch on this, and I'm doing 2 signatures. Just made them a little bit darker with this other pen there. And then taking this to my crocodile punch and punching those out. I'm using the 1/8 inch punch for this. Onto the paper, I wanted to share with you, I always love looking for things at the thrift store. And I found this whole big pack of square dance paper. How fun is that? And then another pack of this old typing paper, which is just a cool texture. It's thinner, just a really neat paper that I thought would be great for journals. And then I found, I think these are for a planner. They have like a schedule on them, but they're already folded. So I thought this would make a great addition to journals. And then the last thing I recently found was a pack of large note cards, and they're old. They're yellowed already, naturally yellowed. So I thought those were really kind of neat. And I added one of these to that little pocket in the journal to show you. I just tri-folded it and then added a little piece of ribbon. I just sewed that little piece of ribbon on. So just an idea, real quick idea that you can do. Now here's all my papers. I've got typing paper that I've dyed. This is a piece of needle book paper. I have just song note paper, cardstock, and a collage paper there of an old Spiegel's catalog. And each of my signatures have about 14 papers to them. The next step again is just to fold them all. Some of them are already folded and I don't need to do that. This one I wanted most of the ladies' heads to show. That's why I didn't quite do that in the middle. And then I just want to arrange those pages the way I like them. I just kind of mix them up. So I've got some short ones in there and some of the longer ones, some of the lined ones and then the plain ones, and just kind of getting them arranged the way I want them. Once I have that part done, I want to add a couple clips to the top just to keep this together. Now I have that hidden spine just sitting there, and I'm going to mark my papers right where I marked that spine. I also put an arrow on the top of that spine to make sure that I knew which was the top so I didn't get that mixed up. Punching a hole again, 3 holes to match that spine. And then I'm going to use my baker's twine for this, and a needle with a large hole. And just starting in the middle, and then going to the top, pulling it straight, going to the bottom, and then through the middle hole again. Just an easy pamphlet stitch. Once I know that thread is nice and tight, I'm just going to tie my knot, and then it's on to my next my next signature, my next group of papers. And I have them all folded, and again I'm doing my marking, and then it's onto my onto threading, onto punching the holes and then threading it again. I received that big spool, actually 2 big spools of that baker's twine from somebody at the flea market, just as a little gift because she knew I did a lot of journals. I'll never use it all, but I sure love it. The other one is a blue color. Just getting everything in there, and now it's to cut those pages down to size. I'm just going to put a little mark where I want the width to be, and I'll cut down the width first. Again, lining up my ruler to my cutting mat lines, and in the same way, just cutting through with my X-Acto knife, just one layer at a time until I'm all the way through. In fact, at the end here, I did some ripping, and it'll rip really straight with that ruler. The trick is to hold that ruler really tight. Now to cut down the length, and again, just the same way, just made a mark. My pages are done. This is such an exciting part because then it just goes together so slick. I'm just going to add glue to this as well. I probably could have used a heavy double-sided tape for this, but the glue worked just fine. It was handy. I had it right there. Just stuck that in, and then I'm going to add some clips to this just to keep it nice and snug until it's completely dry. And here's what it looks like. It's all complete. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a chance to make a journal. They're fun to do. I keep them undecorated because I like to decorate them as I go. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks, everybody. Bye for now.